Hey, I'm Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen, or that's what this channel is. I did a giveaway for this deck last month. I really love this deck, so I'm going to start the reading with that. But yeah, last night was really intense. There was just a lot of drama in my world. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized tomorrow's 11/11, so that's like a big portal. They call it the 11/11 portal. So it's a big day of like transformation. And it's interesting because there's been a lot about transformation coming through. I mean, I feel like October kind of set the stage. I mean, the reading for October was a new reality is bubbling up, so it's kind of like set the stage for this like laying this foundation for kind of like stepping into this new life. And so there's this like turning point that's like kind of been in the offing, like you can kind of see it on the horizon. There's like some point where like things are gonna like switch over, and obviously that's happening like with the like elections and all the drama that's going down with that, you know, like people are having to like accept a new reality. And so it's really interesting how that's playing out. But I think that's playing out, you know, for everyone in different ways, you know. So anyways, I'm gonna start with this urban deck and pull some cards from there, and then I've been doing this new spread where I'll use that as the foundation, and then I'll kind of go over it with some other stuff. So yeah, the 11/11 portal. Oh my gosh, it's kind of crazy how that just happened. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we have completion. You know, so this it's the Four of Wands in the traditional deck, which is kind of like the marriage, family, stability card. It's like crazy how it kind of matches my shirt. Like it's like this spiral with like the same colors. It's like the marriage, family, stability card in the traditional deck, but in this deck, it's completion. So that's really interesting because, I mean, it kind of suggests, you know, like the end of one world and the beginning of a new one. I mean, we've got this sort of like Roman emperor there, like in the background, and like, you know, it's like spin the bottle, like this new world is emerging. But it's like the foundation, you know, like there's a foundation that's like, because it's very, you know, the Four of Wands is stable. It's like marriage, family, stability, but it's like the foundation for this new way of being. So then we have change, the sun. These are like big portal cards. Universe, the game master, and the mage. So that's really interesting because like I feel like all of these cards together are talking about like things like turning over, like this big shift that's happening, you know, but it's good. Like it's really leading to this fulfilling new beginning, you know. And this is a total card, portal card, the universe. Like we're taking a step, we're ascending, and we're stepping into this new stage of life. And things are really in flux right now. But like the game master, you know, like this is the Knight of Swords. So in the traditional deck, this is a message of truth or clarity, like coming in and changing up the game really fast. But this card like kind of reminds me of like this marionettes, you know, because like he's kind of like making all the rules, you know. And then we have the mage, which is like the magician in the traditional deck, but I love how he's this artist and he's wearing this purple velvet suit. Like there's a whole reading called Purple Velvet Suit that might be relevant here. But I mean, what I'm getting from this is like someone has manifested this whole new beginning, you know, like, and it's like coming to light, like right now, where it's just sort of like, you know, they've been working in the background, like making this happen, and like now all of a sudden, like, it's like starting to become apparent to like everyone else, you know, like that this guy has kind of like weaved this web, this brilliant web, and like he's kind of like created something like masterful, you know. So then on the next row we have peace, disappointment, virtue, the works, and the painter. Oh my gosh, it's so weird how these cards like flow together too, because this is just like we have these two twos, like one on top of each other. We have the Two of Pentacles, which is a card of juggling and a card of change, and we have the Two of Swords, which is traditionally a card of like kind of like blockage and like internal conflict. But you know, here it's peace, you know. So it's interesting because it's like there's this change that's happening, but like we've kind of reached this point of like peace with the change. Like we're ready for this change to happen, you know. And so we have like this Sun, like this totally fulfilling card right on top of disappointment, which is interesting because that's like really big contrast. But like the thing about this card, the Five of Cups, is it's like there's these two in the traditional deck. There's like two cups still standing, like three of them have been spilt, so you're like really bummed because you've lost that, but there's a Two of Cups like right behind you, you know. So there's this beautiful potential if you can shift your focus from what has been lost, because you're gonna have to give up something to like go into this new era, you know. But like it's paving the way for this. So it's like even though there's some sadness and there's loss that's happening, like it's leading to a really good outcome. And then we have virtue and the universe, you know. So this, in the traditional deck, the Three of Wands is kind of like waiting for your ships to come in. It's like a card of like sort of manifesting and like seeing what you want off in the distance. But like it's interesting because this is a card of like stepping into this new situation. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of like echoing this whole fulfillment thing. Like you've been working on this change for a while. Like it didn't just, it's not just like it just fell in your lap. Like this is something that you've been manifesting for a while, you know, and it's like finally coming to fruition, you know. And so then we have this Game Master over the works, which this is the Three of Pentacles, you know. So this is like a new foundation, but it's a solid, tangible foundation. Like this person has built something masterful. And then it's interesting because we have the Mage and we have the Painter. So it's just like, this is like the Queen of Swords in the traditional deck and the Magician. But it's interesting because these are both like creators, you know. We've got this musician and we've got this painter, and they're like both like creating something out of nothing, you know. But like this Queen of Swords is kind of like, she's like drawing boundaries, you know, around like what's not gonna work for her, you know. And that can be like a harsh thing, but like it's actually opening up this new beginning, you know. Like it's making this new beginning possible. It's like paving the way, you know. So it's like there's this new creation that's happening and it's beautiful, but there's a cost. Like you gotta give up a pound of flesh to like make way for this new world. Pretty wild. So, okay, I'm gonna pull from a couple more decks and do some shuffling. I'm gonna go to the Golden Art Nouveau, which interestingly we have the world on the bottom, and we have the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, which is the Seven of Wands at the bottom. So this is interesting because this is like almost like this false reality. Like we're stepping out of that into this new world. Like this is like a harsh reality check, but it's making way for this new beginning. So this is interesting because this whole harsh reality check has been a theme that's been coming up for a while in the readings. I'll have to like link to one, or there's several readings about that, where it's just sort of like at the heart of the card of deception is like self-deception, because you're sort of like not being honest with yourself about how you feel, or what you want, or and consequently you're not being honest with the people around you, so it's just sort of like that has to change. It's like if you want to come into harmony with your world, you have to be honest with yourself and everyone around you. And if you're not, like, that's ultimately going to create like drama and strife. I mean, inevitably, like, that's what happens, So I just split this and I got the sun again in the world. So it's just sort of like, the potential in the future looks really good, but something's gotta give. So, okay, I'm gonna keep shuffling these cards and I'm gonna come back so that you don't have to go through all this shuffling. Okay, so I picked 4 cards from Radiant Wise Spirit at the top, and it's crazy because they're all blue, so it's like blue skies, like this new world is, it's, like it's a positive change, but it's a big change, so we've got the King of Wands. So this is a master manifester. I mean, this is someone who can channel their emotions into the 3-dimensional world and make things happen. Like, this person makes things happen, so it's just sort of like there's a big change that's happening for this person, and like they had to go through a lot to like bring this into fruition. Like, it wasn't easy, and like they're still not quite there yet, they're like sort of like gathering strength for the like last push, it's like they're beaten, they're bruised, they've got bandages on, they're not ready to give up, but they're kind of ready for it to be over. It's just like, how much more of this am I gonna have to endure, but it goes into the King of Cups. So this is someone who's like emotionally balanced, operating from a heart-centered space, and like, sort of like engaged in the world, from their heart. Like they're centered, and they're at peace with themselves and like where they are, so it's just sort of like this person has been working on this change for a long time, but they're going to a place of fulfillment, so some other cards. So I got the 3 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the 3 of Wands, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Magician. So like a lot of this is like echoing what I've been saying, like some sort of heartbreaking situation, like someone has not been happy with. Like, this is changing, which is good. And there's some truth that's being revealed, which is leading to some sort of fulfillment, And it's interesting because, this person is ascending. Like, that's the whole 1111 portal. It's about ascending, like making a step into this next level of life, you know. And again, you know, we got another Three of Wands, both of, you know, 2 3 of Wands that are like adjacent to this card. So it's just like this person has been working on taking this step for a while, you know, like they've been manifesting it and you know, really dedicating themselves to this change, you know. And it's ultimately, this is going to bring things in balance, you know. Whatever this game plan that this person has been masterminding forever, you know, it's going to bring things back into balance, you know, because there's some heartbreaking situation at the root of this, you know, that like this person didn't deserve, you know, and they've been carrying this around and, you know, trying to move past this for a long time, you know. And then we got the Magician on top of the Magician. So it's like this person is making this happen, you know, like they turned this really, excuse my French, but shitty situation into something amazing, you know. And now they're getting their, like, comeuppance, you know, like that's happening, you know. But they got run through the ringer, you know, trying to do this, you know. So then on the next row we have the Six of Cups, the Hermit, the Empress, the Star, and the Tower. So it's just like, wow, you know, like we've got this deep soulmate connection and it's right under this heartbreak. So it's like perhaps there's this love that's been lost, you know, and that's the root of this, whatever is this pain, you know. And it's caused this person to go on this spiritual quest, you know. And so they had to like heal some like deeply rooted wound, you know, and like have this sort of come to Jesus moment where they had to like kind of be honest with themselves, you know, and they had to work through a lot of disappointment, you know, and it wasn't an easy lesson, you know. But we have the Empress here, so this is someone who's giving birth to something new, you know. It's just like they've been working on this for a long time, and it's like it's finally coming to fruition, you know. Like this birth, this ascendance, it's like this double message, you know, that happened like right on top of each other, you know. And so we're building this new foundation and we have the Star on top of this. So it's like someone's wish is coming true, and all this work is that they've been doing to heal this wound, you know, they've healed it. And so like now it's like they're not resonating at the same place anymore, you know. Like now suddenly things in their, like, it's not just like something that they're looking at in the distance anymore that they're working on. Like the Tower is happening, like this change is happening, you know. It's here, it's now. This person has created this new vision and the old world is like completely breaking down. So some pretty dramatic stuff, you know. It's gonna be a big day. So I'm gonna go to the Starseed Oracle to pick like a final card about this 1111 portal. But you know, like I said, there's been like all this transformation in the offing for some time. And you know, like the whole month of October was sort of like laying the foundation for this to be able to happen, you know, because it's like this new reality started bubbling up, you know, and we've been like getting confronted with it, you know. But like it's kind of like with the election. It's like the change has already happened. Not everyone has accepted the change, but it has happened, you know. And so it's just sort of like when that acceptance happens is when the dust is going to settle, you know. So we have fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposite, the extremes of life. You know, it's just like, you know, like I said, like not everyone's accepted the change. And right now we have these two polarized extremes that are happening, and like they're both sort of happening at once, you know, because different people are inhabiting different realities, you know, because like we haven't come to this point of acceptance yet, you know. But then we have called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So it's just sort of like once the dust has settled and everyone realizes, like, whether you like it or not, the world has moved forward and things have changed, and we're gonna each have to step into our calling and what that is, you know. So at the bottom we have inner earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. So it's just like you're gonna know what to do. You're being called, and follow your heart. It's gonna work out. It's actually gonna be really good, but this is a big shift and you're ready. So good luck and check in soon.